I think they're adults.
You
I
like
think
the
they've been
military
trained.
in the streets of America.
I love it in a dangerous city. My hometown of Memphis,
in Union
Tennessee.
Station.
Please send them tomorrow. Because there's far too many African-American kids that are dying in Memphis, Tennessee. I've been shot at in Memphis, Tennessee. It's not a joke to me. When you've had a gun put to your head and you've had two people shoot at you from 5 feet away, it's not a joke.
Sounds like
crime is real.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to yesterday's news channel where we watch CNN so you don't have to. On Friday's episode of News Night with Abby Phillip, all 9 people watching witnessed the biggest political mismatch in the history of cable news when they pitted 2 talented and sharp conservative panelists against Cowboy Hat and this other guy. Have you guys seen this guy, Pete Dominic? Can I just say, I probably said it before, he's the worst. He's so bad. The first time I saw him in one of these, I actually looked him up because I was like, what credentials does this person possibly? Anyway, I want to see if I was being trolled or something. Apparently he's a comedian of some kind and has what I can only imagine to be a top-notch podcast. He never adds anything to the conversation. He has insane TDS. The guy's unbearable. I mean, I guess the positive takeaway is this: as shitty as CNN starters are, their bench is even worse. Anyway, they're going to talk about John Bolton's house getting raided and how scared they all are that National Guard troops in D.C. are armed now. Oh, guys, it's so dumb. It's funny, so stick around and watch it. Anyway, let's go.
They have to have evidence that is fresh enough to suggest that the evidence would be there if they searched it now. Not like some witness saw something in his basement, 5 years ago.
Because Bolton has been out of government now for more
been
than
out for a while.
6, 7 years.
Hold on, though. Your serious analysis and questions to the legal expert are, it's too cogent, the analysis. Asha's experience in legal analysis, she's trying to figure out why this was. We don't need it. We know exactly what's going on here. This man has one mode. It is revenge. He has an enemies list. John Bolton has been a critic. I can't believe I'm saying this because I despise John Bolton. I have my entire career. I've interviewed him. I don't like the guy. But this guy crossed Donald Trump. And that is why this is happening. Everybody knows it. Either that or maybe the Epstein files.
Let me just quote John Bolton. Quote, everybody just ought to calm down, whether you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, and let the process work its way through. That was him running to a camera in Mar-a-Lago on the day the raid happened in 2022. So I would like to say, why don't we just calm down? Let's just let the process work its way through.
Sure.
And maybe there's a chance that John Bolton did something that they went to a judicial system and looked at and said, this is not okay. And they said, hey, we have enough here, and believe it might be there that you can actually go raid his home and office. Again, let's just calm down and let the system work.
Right.
I don't think give any information. I mean, I'm just saying, it's pretty rich from John Bolton tonight.
I'm glad that you're acknowledging that the search of Mar-a-Lago would have been similarly
I used his exact words that he said about calming down. And now everybody's like, oh, it's got to be a witch hunt. Really?
Go ahead, Kristen.
No, I think, look, we don't know what the motivation was. We don't know what's going to come out of this. We have to, like we said, have to let the process play through. We do have examples of political retribution. We do in the Obama administration and the Biden administration, the 40-plus organizations that the IRS apologized to because they targeted linchpins for liberty, NorCal Tea Party. They searched organizations for Tea Party and Patriot and penalized them.
Keywords the IRS.
That is fact. We don't know what this one is yet.
That also
but
is.
we have that political retaliation.
Hey, if he did nothing wrong, he's got nothing to worry about.
It was all made up. Everything you just said was made up.
No,
That's not true.
But here's a big difference between the Obama administration and Obama. It's that until this administration, there has been a norm of independence between the Justice Department and the White House. And the
President didn't know about today.
And it's clear that that norm is no longer there.
That's not true. Well, give me evidence to prove that. Hold on, give me evidence to prove that. The president didn't know it was happening today.
Hold on a second.
They have dinner a lot at the White House, including in the Biden and the Obama administration.
Everyone stop talking for just a moment. All right, because I'm going to play.
Even by doing the your side, my side, whatever side, all of this stuff, we've accepted a political norm of power going after its enemies.
The government to go after
this
political
There you go.
That's
what they did.
That's why Trump was elected, because that norm had reached its peak under Obama and Biden.
In that
That's
sense,
why Trump was elected.
we're going to deal with this in perpetuity.
Let me just say, there is no evidence that there was some top-down order of political retribution in either the Obama or the Biden administrations. I'll concede to you that
But
Donald
they
Trump,
made up like the Russian hoax, and they used
Hold on.
information to go after Donald Trump to try to undermine his entire presidency.
Okay.
And they all signed
Okay,
their names
are you going to give me a
it.
second to talk or no?
No, but like you can't say that didn't happen.
Listen,
It happened.
the Russia hoax. First of all, was Donald Trump prosecuted?
They did it to impeach
was he
him. He was
prosecuted?
impeached over it.
Okay, so he.
That's
okay.
a big deal. It's called overthrowing the will of the people.
First of all, he was impeached over his handling of Ukraine. He was not impeached over the Russia investigation.
Over a perfectly good
That's
phone
the
call,
first
which, by the
thing.
way, became accurate on Hunter Biden.
The second thing is, let me just read to you a list of people that Donald Trump and his top cabinet secretaries have said are going to be the subject of investigations. The special counsel Jack Smith, former FBI director James Comey, former CIA director John Brennan, Senator Adam Schiff, AG Letitia James,
They lied.
President Barack Obama,
they abused their power.
Governor Phil Murphy,
I love this
and
list.
Representative
Give me a
Monica
pom-pom over here.
McIver.
Let's
So
go.
there is a list that comes right from the top. I'm not making this up.
They put themselves on the
So-
list because they
so-
weaponized the government
so
to attack their
this is-
political opponents.
So in one
Almost
case,
2010.
let me just say, in one case, you all are making connections based on conjecture. In another case, Donald Trump is just saying the thing. So those
IRS
are two very
apologized for
different
doing it.
situations. Okay, the IRS.
So Obama
is
didn't know what
not-
was going on in his government? He didn't know what his what
if you can provide me proof that Barack Obama directed the IRS to go after Tea Party groups, I will concede that to you
Non-existent.
immediately.
If you can provide me proof that Donald Trump
doesn't
called the
exist.
FBI today and
That
said, "Go
proof
in."
does not exist.
So for some reason, I've watched, hundreds of these, and for some reason this panel triggered something in me, something I've never said out loud, but stay with me here. We'll get right back to the video. Let me lose you here. Just try to stay with me. I never tell you something is 100% true unless I know it's backed by incontrovertible evidence. It's just how I am. It's not a moral thing. So when I do say I'm positive, I kind of expect people to think, wow, Matthew doesn't usually guarantee things, so I'll trust him here. But I'm a realist, and I know, you don't go with your friends and family and keep track of who insisted on what went, so I know that logically, but it still irritates me to no end when someone like rolls their eyes and insists I'm wrong when I just know that's not the case. It drives me insane. I'll brood on it for weeks thinking, that thinks I don't know how to spell rhinoceros or, whatever the dumb thing was. That's exactly what it must have felt like to be on this panel if you're a conservative. The panel giggles, rolls their eyes, and Abby Phillip actually says, show me some evidence the Obama administration targeted Tea Party, whatever said. Are you kidding me? The Inspector General's 2013 report confirmed it. Lois Lerner apologized. In 2017, the IRS issued a formal apology and paid $3.5 million in damages. It's not speculative. This is a news organization. This is documented fact. How is this a news segment? How did these people get on and how are they on TV? Who is persuaded by this nonsense? Back to it.
Donald Trump's Capitol takeover is about to get about more guns. The Pentagon is giving the green light to National Guard troops to start carrying their weapons while patrolling the streets of Washington, D.C. Now, this is coming nearly 2,000 National Guard members have been called up from other Republican states to come into the nation's capital. Earlier, they were instructed that they did not need to have their service weapons. It's also not clear that they really need them. So why? Why take this step?
I've got a dad that's in law enforcement, and if you're in law enforcement, I want you to have a firearm because you don't know what someone's going to do. And if you're willing to put your life on the line, whether it's DC or any other city, and you've been trained with a weapon, I want you to have that weapon. I want you to be safe.
Then why
I
did
don't
they have
find
them
it
have
offensive.
weapons at the beginning?
Again,
when they
I
explicitly said
want
that they
them
would
to.
not have their weapons.
I don't know.
Because they were going to
what
be
I know
in
now
a
is this.
supporting role.
I'm in favor of law enforcement always having
What
weapons.
about National Guard?
I'm in favor of the National Guard. I don't think they're children. I think they're adults.
You
I
like
think
the
they've been
military
trained.
in the streets of America.
I love it in a dangerous city. My hometown of Memphis,
in Union
Tennessee.
Station.
Please send them tomorrow. Because there's far too many African-American kids that are dying in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, please.
I've been shot at in Memphis, Tennessee. It's not a joke to me.
When you've had a gun put to your head and you've had 2 people shoot at you from 5 feet away, it's not a joke.
Sounds like
crime is real.
Okay,
it's not a joke.
I'm not buying it.
People die
Not
every day.
buying it.
Not buying it.
No,
Wow.
we have
Wow.
a former FBI agent. Let Asha.
Then 2 Democrats.
Let me just ask one thing of you, I guess, Ben. What happens when those National Guard troops use those weapons against American citizens?
You're assuming that they're, and the way that you phrase that is like they're just going to randomly shoot Americans.
No,
they
I'm
may
just
actually
asking-
have to shoot a
I'm just
criminal,
listen,
a
I'm
murderer,
asking-
someone that pulls
I'm
a gun on them.
asking what
That happens every day in America.
If they were initially sent unarmed, and now for whatever reason, despite the fact that the reporting is that many of them are doing
Abby,
very
this is
very laudable things, helping women down the stairs at train stations.
Abby, I gotta
They've
say
been
this.
they're patrolling the
answer your question.
streets. They are standing outside
Abby,
of monuments. They're
Abby,
doing all of
they're
those
away from their
things. Now
families.
they're going to be armed. What happens when those weapons are used against American citizens? Do we cross a line at that point or no?
You're acting like, and this is the difference between Republicans and Democrats. You're acting like the good guys are going to go kill innocent Americans.
They
would use a gun against a violent criminal or
They should
someone
not
that
be
brandished a
using
weapon.
against
do it
anyone,
all
because they
the
should
time.
not be doing law enforcement.
Then you guys want people to die in these dangerous cities because you refuse to do what needs to be done to get control.
It's such
That's
a weird
just
thing.
the law. That is the law.
Again, you guys have lost the Americans on this. The American people want safe cities. They want safe cities.
So Ben Ferguson says Democrats want people to die in these high crime cities because they refuse to do what it takes to stop it. And I spared you guys a response from Annie Oakley there, but he gave this same old tired root cause nonsense kind of argument we've heard for years. There are people like me, talking about himself and I don't know, activist groups or whatever, like working with inner cities to address these young black kids dying. So I'm assuming he's talking about all the crap that doesn't work, like midnight basketball or social workers instead of cops, which, by the way, they're probably good ideas in the right situation, but none of that is stopping gangs from shooting each other in the streets. The real root cause is broken families. We all know it. I really don't know why we're not admitting it. And until we can admit it as a country, crime's just going to keep spiraling. So we can't legislate marriage or force people back into traditional values. But what we can do is what works right now in this moment, which is more police, more deterrence, fewer funerals. I don't care if that offends anybody. I actually do care about saving young black men from being killed before they ever get a chance to live. So when Abby Phillip frames a question about the National Guard like they're just itching to mow down civilians, it's insulting. Guardsmen and cops aren't predators. They're human beings who want to go home to their families just like the rest of us. The only difference is they're standing face to face with the violence, while Abby and Cowboy Hat get to sit behind a desk pretending to care. See how fired up I am in this video? I'm telling you, that triggered something in me, that annoying feeling. But I mean, these were just really nonsense conversations, just sneering at conservatives like we're making things up. It shouldn't get me as worked up as it does because the evidence of all this stuff is right there on the record and the solutions are right in front of us. We either enforce the law and protect communities, or we keep letting people die while the media plays defense for failed policies. You know, I wish we had more than two choices of parties, but we don't. The line between the two parties has never been clearer. The choice is real simple. You got truth and accountability, or lies and chaos. And I believe that Americans are smart enough to see which side is actually trying to save lives. But what do you guys think? I mean, you agree with me, right? Like they're just flat out ignoring facts about the targeting scandal under Obama. Maybe my emotions are turning me into like a liberal and I'm getting too worked up over this policing thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you agree that more policing, not more programs or excuses, is what will save lives in these high crime cities? Anyway, that's it for this video. No announcements. I just want to thank you all for the millionth time. Just that I really, really appreciate all of you joining me for this endeavor. It's a big deal to me, and I really, really, really appreciate you guys. Whether you agree with me, like me, don't like me, I appreciate the opportunity that you all have given me. Always put God first. I'll see you guys.